Reporting live from my Club for iPlus News, I'm John Abba. Breaking news coming out of Mississippi. Key information connected to the case of Nolan Wells has now broken online and is adding to ongoing speculation. In an exclusive finding from People magazine, it has now been revealed by a Jackson County official that Horn Island has not seen any official drownings in the past 6 years, according to the coroner's office. In the People magazine exclusive, it goes on to read, despite the current and deep water around Horn Island echoed in the concerns of some locals, data obtained by People indicates that recent drownings there are rare. The Jackson County coroner said that there have been no recorded drowning deaths at Horn Island in the last 6 years. An official tells People in response to an open records request. For some, this is extremely interesting given that many have suspected foul play was involved, and that the sheriff's department originally suspected Wells' death to be an accidental drowning, which would anger many since an official autopsy was not completed when that statement was made. So if there has been no drownings on Horn Island in 6 years, what are the chances that Nolan just so happened to experience this unfortunate and, from the gathered information, rare incident? In that same exclusive, it will go on to share that drownings have occurred on nearby islands, but again, nothing on Horn Island where Wells was last seen alive. Now, at the top of this case, many have shared their theories of Nolan possibly drowning, with some accusing a potential part of the island being known for rip currents. But viewing where many were positioned in the water that day, it's been hard for some to believe that Wells could drown in water that's waist deep. Now, one user on TikTok, and who is also a retired officer, would be on Horn Island on July 4th and confirmed seeing Wells that day, and would go on to reveal in a post that Wells not only seemed okay, but everyone was in waist deep water. Pictures from his post would also go on to confirm this. Now, a user would first go on to ask, can you confirm if there's phone signal on the island? In which the user would go on to say, maybe one bar on the south side of the island. You can maybe get text messages. We walked the entire island on the 4th. And yes, we saw Nolan earlier that day, but before these pics were taken. He was with a group of white girls who appeared to be around his age. The only reason I remember is my wife said he was one of the former Ocean Springs football players. He did not seem to be impaired by any means. This was also 12 or 1-ish. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Nobody brings their phones off the boats. I did because I wanted to take some pics. Most people are in waist deep water. It's a tragedy either way, but I hope no foul play was involved. But if it was, he needs justice. So much misinformation. Leaving your phone on the boat is common practice at the island. No docks there, so you have to wade to the beach. Every boater, when time permitted, washes their boat and flushes it, especially when leaving salt water, as soon as they get home. His Snapchat would not be used if he didn't have his phone. His mother said he would not leave his friends. We saw with our own eyes he was not with his friends. He was clearly interested in one of the girls. Nobody knows the whole story, but hopefully they will get to the bottom of it. It was also a very family-friendly environment on the beach. Numerous families with small children. If something nefarious happened, it wasn't on the beach. Boats were parked too deep on the island. It would be easy to lose sight of someone behind one of the boats, and the water drops off pretty quickly in some spots. I'm retired law enforcement and worked federal and state investigations. Nothing is off the table. He had 2 autopsies and the toxicology takes a little while. I have faith in the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Everyone sees Mississippi as this backwoods racist place. It couldn't be further from the truth, at least here on the coast. Either way, I feel there is a lot of misinformation being spread, even blatant lies by racist people, white and black. Unfortunately, this is the way of the world. I hope this sheds some light on that day on the island, sending prayers to his family and friends who are affected by his tragic loss. Now, over on Instagram, on Thursday, D.O. Hughley would further push against claims that Wells drowned, as he would go on to share a video of a woman taking the stance against those who continue saying that Wells lost his life in an accidental drowning. For his caption, Hughley would go on to say, all this.
He was on an island that was very populated with a lot of people. Let's just talk fundamentals of basic common sense, okay? If he drowned, at what point did he drown? And did no one see him drowning? And if he did drown, how and why did he drown? Do we think that he was just like out there and he fell in the water himself and just suddenly couldn't swim and drowned? Do we think he just went for a swim and the rip current took over? I'm asking. Because if you're so convinced that he drowned, how did he drown? I get that drownings happen. How did he drown alone, where no one saw him drowning? Because no one's reported him drowning, or seeing him drown, or even seeing him struggle. And I want to say he has to be a good swimmer, because they did mention a pool party too that he attended. So I don't think that he would like go on a boat and go to a pool party if he couldn't swim.
Now, that same woman later on in her video will go on to predict that Mississippi officials will attempt to get the outcome they want in this case, with a potential uproar to soon follow. Now, despite many pushing back against drowning theories, there are some, however, who still believe that him drowning is very plausible.
I can tell you for a fact, Nolan is not the first person to pass away, or even the first person to pass away on the 4th of July. Been several people who have passed away from accidental drowning off of Horn and Ship Island. The majority of the time it's from people having some liquid courage, jumping off a boat into the water and it being too shallow, or falling off and hitting their head, becoming unconscious. One person, I think it was a 17-year-old, fell off, hit his head, became unconscious, and his friends were right there. Tried to find him, couldn't find him. Didn't find him, I don't think, till the next day. Similar to Nolan. Drowning is silent.
Now, as far as the latest, yesterday would mark Wells's 19th birthday, in which his friends and family would participate in a prayer vigil for the young man who would end up going missing and later be found dead on July 4th. Let's talk about him in the comments below. Upon hearing that Horn Island has not had any reported drownings in 6 years, does this add to speculation that foul play was involved? Reporting live from Hype's Club for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba.